Hi, I'm McKenna Harris. I am the SLP today.
Hi, McKenna. Nice to meet you. I am Maggie, and I'm the mom.
Hi, Maggie. Nice to meet you. I'm Laura, and I'm the teacher.
Alrighty, so thank you both for meeting with me today to talk about Jack. I really appreciate being able to work together as a team. I know we all want what's best for him, so this is great. Mom, I also want to thank you for trusting us with the information about Jack's recent autism diagnosis. My hope for today is that our conversation can help us leave with a clearer plan for supporting him. I also want to add that Jack is truly a joy to work with in the speech room. He has such a sweet personality and he genuinely enjoys connecting with the other students. I've noticed that he often wants to engage socially and participate, but sometimes he doesn't yet have the more complex language skills to kind of fully express what he's thinking or feeling. Seeing how he's struggling to communicate, I would like to introduce a communication tool called an AAC device. So that stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. And in Jack's case, it would be in the form of a speech generating device like an iPad or something. My hope is that an AAC device would give him more opportunities to share his thoughts, subsequently connect with his peers, and participate more independently, both socially and academically. So, before we talk more about AAC, I'd love to hear from both of you. What concerns or challenges are you noticing with Jack's communication right now?
Well, I know he gets frustrated. He's actually told me before, I know what I want to say, but I just can't get it out. And sometimes he'll just give up trying to explain things when people don't understand him. But I don't know if one of those Ogcom devices is the answer.
In class, I see him wanting to participate, but he often gives one-word answers or stays quiet during discussions.
Okay, okay. Those observations are very consistent with what I'm seeing with him in speech therapy. Jack has a lot to say, but sometimes he doesn't yet have the language tools to fully express himself. Mom, what do you think when you hear the teacher's description of Jack's participation in class?
I I guess I didn't realize he was staying quiet that often in class.
Okay. And teacher, what are your thoughts about mom's concern that AAC could replace speech?
I can understand why she'd worry about that.
I just I don't know about this AAC device. He really spends too much time around screens. I'm worried that if we give him the device, he'll just stop trying to talk altogether.
That makes sense. I think if I were a parent, I might wonder the same thing. Have you noticed him relying on screens a lot at home?
Definitely. If he could spend the whole day on his tablet, he probably would. That's part of why this feels scary to me.
I can see that. From my perspective, though, I don't think he's avoiding communication in class. Sometimes I actually see him wanting to participate, but not quite knowing how to say what he wants to say.
Really?
Yeah, there are times when he'll raise his hand or look like he wants to join in, but then he'll give a really short answer or decide not to say anything at all.
I didn't realize that that was happening at school.
Honestly, I'm a little nervous about the device too. Sixth graders can be distracting enough already. I'm worried he'll use it to avoid work or that students will focus on the device instead of the instruction.
That's another thing I've thought about. I don't want him to stand out more than he already does.
Exactly. I want him to have support, but I also want him to feel comfortable and included.
Those are both really understandable concerns. I can tell you both care deeply about Jack and want to make sure we're making the right choice for him.
I just won't want people to think something's wrong with him. Middle school kids can be mean. I'm scared he'll get bullied if he walks around like carrying a big device. I think part of this is a little bit personal for me. I was actually diagnosed with autism later in life. Communication was really hard for me growing up, especially socially, but I learned how to work through it without using something like an AAC device.
Thank you for sharing that with us. It sounds like some of your concerns about AAC are maybe then kind of connected to your own experiences growing up and some of the challenges that you faced with communication.
Yeah, I think so. I remember feeling different from other kids, so I just don't want Jack to go through that as well.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like you're trying to protect him from some of the difficult experiences that you had.
Exactly.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that perspective. Again, everything you share is going to help us better understand where your concerns are coming from.
I guess I just worry that if Jack relies on the device, he won't push himself to talk or figure things out on his own, like I had to do.
I can completely understand why you'd feel that way, especially based on your own experiences. And honestly, your perspective is very valuable because you understand firsthand how difficult communication challenges can feel.
Exactly, and I know how hard kids can be.
Absolutely. And I think one important thing to remember is that AAC is not meant to replace Jack's voice or his effort. It's meant to support communication and reduce frustration with while his language continues developing. The reality is that Jack and you are two different communicators with different strengths and needs. Some autistic individuals develop spoken language independently over time, while others benefit from additional supports to fully express themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And research actually does show that AAC often increases verbal language because it gives students consistent access to vocabulary, sentence building, and successful communication experiences. Instead of taking speech away, it can help strengthen communication overall.
So the device wouldn't replace his speech.
Exactly. We would absolutely continue to encourage verbal speech while also providing him with visual and language support through the AAC system. Right now, Jack mostly communicates in one or two word phrases. The AAC device could help him build longer utterances, answer questions in class, and communicate wants, feelings, and ideas more independently.
I guess I'm also wondering how this would work during class instruction.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would help model how to use the AAC system during speech sessions, and I can also collaborate with you about simple classroom supports. The goal is not for the device to distract from learning, it's just to increase participation.
What would that look like?
So, for example, during discussions, Jack could use the device to answer questions, participate with peers, or ask for help instead of just remaining quiet and kind of like shutting down, like I think you mentioned he's kind of doing. Over time, a lot of students become more engaged because they finally have a reliable way to communicate.
I guess I just worry that people will see the device before they actually see him.
I understand that. Yeah, one thing that we can do is to make the device look more age appropriate. So instead of using one of those bright rubber cases with the handles like you had shown earlier, we can use a laptop style case that looks much more like what other middle school students would carry.
That actually sounds much less noticeable.
Definitely. We want Jack to feel comfortable and confident using it. We also want him to have access to communication everywhere, not just in speech therapy. That means supporting him at school, at home, and in social situations.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah, AAC can really open doors for students. It can increase independence, social interaction, academic participation, and confidence. Communication impacts every part of a child's life.
I just want him to be happy and accepted by the other students.
Of course, that makes complete sense. And giving him more opportunities to communicate can actually help build those peer relationships. When students can share their thoughts and their personalities more easily, classmates often connect with them in a more natural way.
I'd definitely be willing to support trying it in class if we have guidance and structure. I want to do everything I can to support Jack.
Yeah, maybe a trial period would be okay.
I think that's a wonderful place to start. We can treat this as a team process, a collaborative effort, and we'll monitor Jack's responses at both school and home. You won't be doing this alone, and we'll continue adjusting supports together based on what's working best for Jack and for your family as well. All
That
right.
sounds good.
So it sounds like everyone here wants similar things for Jack. I'd love to hear what each of you hope communication will look like for him moving forward.
Yeah, thanks. I really want him to be able to tell people what he's thinking, and I would love for him to make some more friends.
I agree. I want him to participate more in class and be able to ask for help when he needs it.
Okay, great. Those are wonderful goals. From my perspective, AAC could definitely help support all of those areas by giving Jack a more reliable way to express himself while we continue encouraging spoken language. Okay, so based on our conversation, it sounds like we all agree that moving forward with an AAC evaluation and trial period is something we'd like to try. Again, this doesn't mean AAC is permanent. It gives us an opportunity to see how Jack responds and what we find is supporting him best, right? So I'll coordinate the evaluation process and provide training and support for both home and school. Let's plan to meet again in about, let's say, 4 weeks to review how things are going and discuss next steps.
Yeah, I think a trial feels very manageable.
I agree.
Great. Thank you both for being open to this conversation. I'm super excited for us to continue working together to support Jack's communication.
Thank you.
Thank you.